Is that you in the background, Dean? Or is that James?
It's me.
That was Dean. This is me.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Still a terrible intro, isn't it? Like, not the best intro. Anyway, welcome. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. My name is Dean. Loch, you there?
I'm here. Yeah,
you
I'm
there?
here. Yeah.
James is here
Hi.
too. James, you there? James, you there?
I am
James?
here.
James, hello?
I'm here.
Hello, James?
Hello?
James?
Hello? Is this thing
Hello?
on? My house is
Hello?
driving through a tunnel. Hello?
Hello, James? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? No, I got you. I had you the whole time.
Oh. That wasn't annoying at all.
I just wanted to watch you fucking lose your mind because I know how much you hate that.
We're off to a stellar
Computer
start
off.
today, boys.
Just pretending you can't hear the guy.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Actually, I'm Mike Bullard. I just thought I'd come in and fill in for James today.
Yeah. Anyway, hi, everybody. Welcome. That is James DeFiore, Lachlan Cross. My name is Dean, and welcome to the program. We are here today with lots on vaccine travel advisories getting lifted, Father's Day, Mike Bullard writing a book with him. I just saw him shirtless. James was attempting to play with one of his nipples. That didn't go well. And so we'll touch in with James and see how that's fared all weekend.
I see what you did there. The whole touch thing.
No, they did. He just tried to give it a little tune in Tokyo with Mike Bullard's nipple. I think he
would have liked it. I licked my fingers before I did it.
No, you didn't.
Oh, good Lord.
No, you didn't. And of course, this is brought to you by our friends over at Easy Auto Financial. Looking for a vehicle, looking for financing, can't find a vehicle or financing. Easy Auto Financial does it all for you. Go to easyautofinancial.ca for more details. Fellas, how was our Father's Day? You're a father, James. Loch, you're a dad. I've got older kids. You got younger kids, James. Loch, you got older kids. How was it? I got to tell you, I was like this all day yesterday. We got a long way to go before Father's Day is anything like Mother's Day. Anything like Mother's Day.
I'm okay with it. I mean,
Yeah?
think about the effort that I put in versus the wife. I get it. It's understandable. I mean, the girls bought me some nice gifts and we went for breakfast and they made a lasagna. So I don't ask for much more. It's all good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Did you feel ripped off at all?
No, not at all. Here's what I
between feeling like it would be because here's the thing. When you're celebrating Father's Day and you've had 21 of them, or in your case, Loch, 21, 22, and you've got a couple of kids, so times that by 2. So now we're looking at 42, 43 different Father's Days. Times it by 3 in my case, it's a lot more. And I was thinking the other day, I thought, I wonder if do I want to spend the entire day with my kids who traditionally don't really give a fuck about Father's Day or Mother's Day? Because I remember being a kid. It was like Father's Day was this obligatory day where you had to go spend a day with an angry dude. It was like, it's Father's Day, go spend your time with your dad. Oh, so you just want me to get yelled at for 24 solid hours? Yeah, that's the idea. Okay. And that was my Father's Day. So I don't know if Father's Day for me is just this thing that I don't enjoy because I didn't enjoy it when I was a kid, or if it's just Father's Day is one of those things. It's like, yeah, I get it. I'm your dad. We acknowledge it one day a year. Not because my kids are great. I enjoy being with them all the time. It's not like I've got an issue, but we didn't really do anything. We got wings. I took them to buy some clothes. We came back. We watched a couple of episodes of a show that they wanted to watch together, and then I took them back to their moms because they're like, "Hey, can we go home?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I don't care. I wasn't going to force them spending an entire day with me because I remember what that was like with my dad. Hey, Dad, isn't this great? Not really.
But the origins of Father's Day is like, there was a woman, I forget her name. Her last name was Dodd. I think it was Sonara Dodd or something from like 1910, like wanted to celebrate her father, just her father, who was like a Civil War veteran. And now we're all stuck because at the time it was sort of billed as like pro-military. So they liked it. They sort of like blasted it out to their, I guess, little tiny paper mill papers and stuff. But it was, you know, and then it turned, and now it's a Hallmark holiday, and I don't really care about Father's Day. I like the kids. Unfortunately, I spent Father's Day this year watching a topless Mike Bullard getting in and out of the hot tub. So that was my Father's Day.
And you didn't like it?
If we take, just can I say this out loud? If we take Father's Day away, that's one less out of 2 times that I talked to my dad. So
I'm fortunate that my father is deceased, so I don't have that issue. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's fortunate, but you guys are making this incredibly dark. I'm just trying to go down the road of trying to figure out whether or not do you want to spend the entire day with your parents on Father's Day? Because I don't think my kids do, right? Like with Father's Day, I just all I saw yesterday when I was driving around, I had some errands to run, were like kids in the back of the car and a dad in the front seat of the car like this.
Yeah,
mad that he's got to spend time with his kids.
Everywhere. My kids are older, so I just let them do their thing. If they want to stay, they can stay. If they want to go, they go. I'm not going to force them into it. But like Father's Day was this forced thing when I was a kid, and then I look in these cars where all these kids are in the back of the car where they got to go get an ice cream with their dad or something like that. Yeah. It is a forced thing, isn't it? And for guys like Nick Cannon, confusing, like super confusing. Did you just read the story that I read about Nick Cannon? He is now expecting his 7th child, 4 kids within 6 months with 3 different women. He announced that he's going to have a baby with his new wife, girlfriend, whatever. This will be his 4th in 1 calendar year with 3 different babes.
Is he actively involved with all of these women? I
don't see how you can't. I don't think so. I don't see how you can be actively involved with all of those kids either.
He'll know them for the rest of his life now. Good job.
Very good point.
But think about the work that this guy would have to put in with 7 kids, with 4 different women, 4 kids with 3 different women in 1 year, 1 calendar year.
I have trouble remembering the 2 that I have, like their names, and they live with me.
Yeah.
So. Good luck, Nick.
I don't have a problem remembering their names. Like, I've got 3 kids. I know all their names. But 3 was a stretch for me. Like, I was good with 2. Then we had a 3rd, and I thought, okay, great. This is with the same person. So I wasn't really embarrassed by the whole thing. I'm like, great, we got 3 kids. It's awesome. I love having 3 kids. But after I got divorced, I knew I was done having kids. I'm like, I don't want any more kids. I don't want to take a chance.
You know, James,
another kid and another child. And so I got a vasectomy because I was smart. I was brilliant. I knew that if there was going to be some stick to be had, I didn't want any trophies from that experience. I knew that I didn't want to deal with something for 18 years. This guy just keeps doing it and doing
James.
it and doing it and doing it and doing it because he can't stop. James,
I'm going to make a prediction here.
What's that?
Okay.
Dean will have another kid in the next 5 years.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
You'll meet some young filly and she'll sweep you and then she'll talk you into it. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be, Dean has that look of a guy that has a kid in his 50s or early 60s. You totally do.
Yeah. Accidents happen.
Mark it.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. The plumbing doesn't work. I had it all taken care of after I got divorced. It was like a real important thing to me. Go to the doctor.
Think about modern technology and where we're at. You can totally have that reversed.
Dude, he would have to literally go in and get surgery.
Major surgery.
Instead of it just be, you had it before I knew he was
That's the thing about predictions. Not everyone fucking agrees with you. I'm calling it right now. Dean's going to get locked down.
It made sense. Didn't know that he had a vasectomy because then it could have been an accident. But now that he's got a vasectomy, your contention is he will make the decision to have a child, then go to the doctor with the knife to reverse the surgery that he's already had just so he could decide to have a child. That is a makeover of Dean's personality. I don't know how that's going to happen.
I totally believe this is going to happen. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
Piss me off. You're just saying
no,
it to make me sick.
I'm not. It's not.
Because the idea of it makes me sick.
The funny thing is today Dean looks like Orville Redenbacher's bastard. Look at him.
What is it? The glasses? You don't like the glasses?
And then your hair's a little floppier today than usual. So,
well, that's because I didn't put product in it. I just got out of the shower and decided to just not do my hair and then get on a podcast with you guys. And you know what? The funny part is, I knew you would say something about my hair. I just didn't think you'd liken me to the former premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne.
Katie Lang's side piece is still.
That's better than Phil Donahue from The Matrix. Why are you always drinking apple juice?
Oh,
actually,
he's got a vitamin C deficiency, or he's a 2-year-old, one of the two.
You know when you stop drinking apple juice?
Yeah,
when you're 4. Like, why? I don't get it.
You know when you stop
drinking it.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Like it's bizarre because the only beverage I ever see you drink is either apple juice or Red Bull. Like that's it. I don't see you drink anything else. And if you've had a Red Bull, sometimes it's a stretch. You can say it kind of tastes like apple juice. So maybe it's just a thing, Loch. Maybe he's just like it's impossible for him to drink other things. He's like that weird kid in England. The only thing he could eat for like 15 years was French fries. Couldn't stomach the idea of eating anything else. Maybe that's him. Maybe James is just a weirdo.
No, because I stopped drinking alcohol, and then I replaced like what I don't. But I used to mix vodka with this dark apple cider, like the pressed thing, and now I just drink the apple juice instead of the vodka. So I don't know. That's all.
Some people don't lose that yummy tooth when they're kids. Jimmy or James is that guy, I think.
That's true, because this is what I'm eating when the camera's not on me.
Arrow. You eat an Arrow bar? You got to have something sweet all the time?
At least 1 or 2 of those a day.
Dude, maybe you got diabetes. You're going to get diabetes.
I'm 155. Like I've never. You can see my abs underneath that inch of fat.
People can have fucking diabetes too. It's got nothing to do with.
I've seen you without your shirt on. You're not showing abs.
Yeah,
I do. But you just have to really look. You can see the shading of the underneath the fat layer, but it's there. You can see.
You can't. No, you can't.
Someone quickly.
I've seen you walk around on the thing with your shirt off, and you can't see any abs.
If I flex as hard as I can until I almost pass out, there's hints of abs.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
There's a better chance I could flex my scrotum and show abs.
It's a long ab.
Yeah.
That's a very long ab.
Well, you could probably fit 6 testicles in your scrotum now. That's really long. So maybe you could get away with abs,
Well,
get that surgery that Dean doesn't want to get.
If I didn't have balls and I was a bowler, I would have a sack to carry my ball to the lane.
Did you put one of those bones in your scrotum that, the African tribes that put those bones in their lips?
I don't know what happened.
Take it out and their lip hangs.
I got up
is it just in the middle of the night? Is it an extraordinarily long set of testicles you have? Is that
huge.
The deal?
Like when I talk about the size of my balls, I quite often refer to like a good, like, when you go to the grocery store and you're wandering around the fruit section, right? No, I'm move past the kiwis.
What?
You're on to the plums, okay? And like a smaller avocado.
So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Lachlan's balls for the 78th time on this podcast.
Now, I have had a doctor. I have had a doctor look at it, right? And he said,
your scrotum is so big that it concerned you. You went to a doctor.
I said, Doc, I have a concern about the size, specifically the left one. And he did a little. He went, yeah, that's pretty big, but I think you're okay. We're good.
So hold it. Even just the fact that he said, it's pretty big. Did that concern you? Like when you're like, I knew there was something wrong with this.
If he said, Loch, I need you to go get them x-rayed at the hospital, that's when I would start moving from, wow, that's an awfully large testicle, to concern. And he didn't do that. He gave it a little one of those. A little one of those.
Are they tender?
No. I mean, I don't want to toss them around a room or anything like that, but They're not tender. They don't hurt. They're just big.
Yeah. Well, I see now. Here's the thing. I can understand the dropping of the
4 and 240 pounds.
I know. Me too. And my nuts aren't. They don't concern me. Like when I look at them, I don't go, man, oh man, they're making their way south awfully quick, or they're much bigger. I don't notice that big of a difference. Like it's just like 48 is 48. Your testicles are your testicles. If I'd noticed something, I probably would have gone to the doctor and I would have said, hey, check these out.
Yeah.
But for you, I mean. And for you to be concerned, and you're not an overly concerned individual, like you sleep pretty well at night. Yeah, I and I hate to say it, but I wouldn't mind setting my eyes on those things just to see
on a muggy day, right? If I sit down on the toilet and I sit in a certain position, I can quite often
bathe your balls,
feel water on my nuts. That's true. I swear to God, it's got to be a humid day. But I'm telling you right now, they'll dip.
It's got to be a humid day. If it's not humid, I can't touch water. If it's humid, I can dip.
And that's what Loch just said. I have to. There's a certain position I have to be in. So if I do, like if I move or whatever, they'll dip, and then I go, oh, and then I just sort of sit back and they pull up a bit.
Do you spray them when this happens? Do you then put deodorant on your Choda? Do you put Choda deodorant on?
Like if I took my pants off right now and I did a little of this, I could get a good swing going. I love how mortified James is when we talk about my balls.
Well, the thing is, I'm probably
on the backswing of your. Do you think you could get the butt cheeks? Like, do you think you could hit butt cheeks on the backswing? If you did,
I could hit top of crack on the back.
Wow. The weird thing is that I'm sure I'm the only one who's actually had surgery on his testicles.
No. I had. I would consider what I went through in Winnipeg when I got circumcised surgery. By the way, here's
did you get circumcised as an adult?
No, not circumcised. I had the snip.
Oh, the vasectomy. Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Lachlan? So, I think you might have more kids. But go ahead.
Here's the thing with the vasectomy. If you live in Winnipeg, and I loved my time in Winnipeg, but it was time for me to get snipped when we had our second
it's not true.
Kid.
That's not true. No one leaves Winnipeg and says, I really loved my time in
Winnipeg.
Did.
I actually, I liked Winnipeg.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Did.
I'm telling you now, you didn't. You're just saying that because you've got friends in Winnipeg. You got family in Winnipeg, people in Winnipeg, maybe something in Winnipeg. Something is drawing you back to Winnipeg. Is not one person in the history who's ever lived in that fucking city has ever said, I really loved that time. I really enjoyed my time in Winnipeg.
I enjoyed my 6 years salad days. It was. But here's the thing. If we're being brutally honest about Winnipeg, if you have money and you live there, there's something wrong with you. So guess what kind of a doctor you're getting? I had a vasectomy in Winnipeg from a guy that I'm pretty sure may have got his degree in a strip mall. And so I was wildly concerned after I made that decision that it was the wrong one from the perspective of getting my nuts clipped in Winnipeg. Right. So yeah, I still worry about it. And maybe he did something. Maybe that's why I got balls that
are that low. I don't know. Maybe it's a scar tissue. I'm just happy that you're here. That's the difference between guys, sitting around and talking about this is a medical condition. And look, James, you can have that shit-eating look on your face like you're too good to talk about Loch's medical condition. But like sometimes men need other guys to sit down and go, hey, I get you. I get your condition. I know it's hard to talk about that. Yeah. Men's health is a grind. I understand. And so when a guy like Loch can put his balls on Front Street, it's good for his mental well-being.
Yeah, but the only thing that
you're
was
sitting
unhealthy,
there like you're too good to talk about your balls.
No.
You're too good to talk about your medical conditions.
The only thing that was unhealthy about that story that Lachlan just told about his balls is that it sometimes comes into contact with fecal matter because it drops in the fucking toilet water. But the actual big of the balls is not a big deal.
He can't help it. He can't
no
help
sh-
it. You're
put it
getting
on the
upset.
seat.
Look at that
Put it
guy.
on
Look at him
seats.
right now. Look what you've done to him. Look at it. He's bearing his soul about a medical condition that he has.
And all
And
you're
there
worried
you
about
are,
is poo nuts.
Look at you. You're so base. We're talking about something serious, and there you are taking it back to poop. And it's
Suck
your
it up,
lack of
you know what?
support.
It's disgusting.
Your lack of
It is
support
disgusting.
is
You're absolutely
bothersome.
Yeah. Hey,
A real friend would support me and my poo nuts.
yeah, they would, but
We're
not
just
you. You
acquaintances,
sit there like
Lachlan.
you're too
We're
good
just
for the
acquaintances.
conversation.
It's all good.
No, you're not too good for this conversation.
So
I
20
believe in
minutes
you.
of 20
Your
minutes of
balls
balls is probably
suck.
good enough, right, guys? Like 20 minutes.
Shame is
that good?
sack shaming me.
He is. How dare you sack shame your friend and co-host?
Oh,
Right?
I dare.
He just put it out there. It's like, you know, a woman. Can you imagine a woman being on the show going, guys, I got to talk to you about my terribly unsightly labia.
Yeah.
And then James
Next.
sitting there like this. Oh, she is so base. I can't believe it. Talking about that. Oh my God. Or a woman coming up here talking about her one nipple. I only got one nipple. And we're like, oh, that's too bad. There's James. Oh, I can't believe I hang out with people with one nipple. He's got a fucking medical condition.
It's more like the
I got
time,
huge nuts
which is
and
the length of time
I'm-
we have spent on this is almost as long as Lachlan's scrotum. And it's just
All right.
like, how much you know. It's,
By the
like,
way-
look at it. Yeah. Go ahead.
we need to investigate sack jack and find out whether or not that's a cure for what I have.
Sack Jack. What is
Yes. I agree. I think we should do that,
Where
Lachlan.
you
Tell me more.
tighten. Don't Google that.
that? Googling it right now. Sack Jack.
Hashtag
No, I'm Googling
locker
Sack
room.
Jack. Is it with a K or a C? Because traditionally when we refer to
Sack
the
Jack K.
testes, no, there's no K. There's no K. It's Sack Jack.
Yeah.
SAC. Oh no, there's a K. There's a K. You don't want to Google it with the K.
Yeah.
Gotta have the K. Yeah, Sack Jack. How to make
See?
your balls a little higher. Yeah,
See?
you can
Ding!
Train-
it is a
you can
thing.
train your testicles. So it's
Grant keeps
pull 'em
telling
back.
me that sack jack is some kind of weird sexual thing, and I'm like, no, it's where you get your nuts tightened up to your taint. They pulled a bit higher.
attached to your taint. Your nuts aren't attached to your taint, dude.
Well, that's what they would do for me, like what they did with guys with the big ears, right? They would just sort of snap them back
Pin back
on
the
the
ears.
head.
They'd pin
right?
your nuts to your taint.
They're
Yeah.
going to pin my nuts to my taint so that they don't swing around as much.
Hey, good news. Good news. We can move on from the nuts and the taint. Did you see the Foo Fighters played a sold-out show for just fully vaccinated people at MSG this weekend? Did you guys see
Did you
this?
see Chappelle jump out?
Oh my God, it was fucking unbelievable. Let me just play a quick clip. This is from the
I love
Foos
him.
this weekend. It was incredible.
That's fucking beautiful right there. Sing it out with me, buddy.
I got
Awesome.
chills. I got chills. Darrin has joined the podcast. Pfeiffer's here. Did you see that, Fife? Did you see the Foos play like a sold out 20,000 seat indoor stadium yesterday?
Yeah, I was
It
there.
seriously gave me the fucking chills. No, you weren't.
I was not. You're right.
Yeah, because it was you're in LA and that was in New York, so there's no way you were there. But can you believe that? Like as an artist who looks forward to playing rooms like that, how fucking cool was that? Just to see it happening after
It's
all
just-
this time.
It just adds to the legacy of Dave Grohl and how insanely cool he is and down to earth. And it just proves to you that they're one of the biggest bands on the planet, and rock is absolutely not dead. No way.
Thank you. That round of applause. Darren, who's a better drummer? Dave Grohl or Taylor Hawkins?
Taylor Hawkins.
Who's
Is
a better
he
drummer? Dave Grohl or
than
you?
Dave Grohl?
I'm sorry?
Who's a better drummer, Dave Grohl or you?
Oh, me, 100%. Without a doubt.
Sorry, Loch. Loch, you asked a question. Sorry about that.
No, I think he answered it. I'm surprised he said Taylor Hawkins is a better drummer than Dave Grohl, though.
Now, don't get me wrong. Dave's the nicest, sweetest, most down to earth, zero ego guy. He literally is one of the nicest guys in the music industry, period, regardless of genre. Let me just preface it with that. As a drummer, he's pretty rock solid. He's solid as rock. He's got some good fills. But Taylor's just that level up. He's at one level up. He's
Okay.
a little more cleaner. He's a little
How?
more.
How do you know? How can you tell that one drummer is just a little bit better than the other?
I'm
I know
curious.
you can, but
He was
I
a
would love to
fucking
know.
drummer with Nirvana.
Yeah.
I've seen Taylor pull off some stuff live and on video that I know Dave can't pull off. Just
Hey,
certain
Darren, I have a drumming question for you, because I grew up and there was all these musicians that I would read about that would always like shit on Ringo Starr. And then I saw this weird like 20-minute documentary where all these famous drummers, including David Grohl, were praising him. So I have no idea now if he's a good drummer or not.
Ringo or Dave Grohl?
Ringo.
Ringo's a fantastic drummer.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Is there any truth to the story that Paul McCartney was a better drummer than Ringo Starr?
He probably was, yeah.
Because apparently they used to send Ringo home when they were getting annoyed with what he couldn't do in the studio when the Beatles were recording, and then Paul would get up quickly and do
Paul
the drum
jump in.
tracks.
Paul's
Get the
one of
fuck
those.
outta here, you stink.
Paul's like Prince. He's one of those idiot savant musicians that you literally could put a tuba in a guy's hands, and within 10 minutes he'd be able to rip on it, like just play anything. So
He's just an incredible musician.
There's no video archives to prove that Paul McCartney can technically play better than Ringo. So everything now is just speculation. But if I had to put money on it, I would say that Paul could probably could best him.
Huh.
Yeah, those are the only two Beatles left. You should have like the Hunger Games for the only two Beatles just to see who's a better fucking musician, right? You put Ringo and Paul in a room and you say, "Hey, listen, you guys play a few instruments. We'll judge. Whoever comes out, comes out."
Yeah. The first one to run and successfully snag Michael Jackson's catalog wins the game, right?
I'm putting my money down on Paul. He still looks like he's in pretty decent shape.
Doesn't he? He looks incredible still.
Yeah.
Ringo's not bad too. Ringo looks like he's all right. They just didn't. One guy didn't get shot, and the other guy didn't get lung cancer. It was
There's a punk rock band called the Meatmen, and they have a song called "One Down, Three to Go." This is before George died.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
1 down, 3 to go. 1 down, 3 to go. 1 down.
I just got it. One of the cool things last night too with the Foos, they brought on Chappelle to do Radiohead's "Creep." I don't know if you saw it, but it's actually not bad. Like Chappelle's pretty good. I was watching it this morning. It's fucking cool, eh?
I fucking love Chappelle.
Just decided to bring Chappelle out to do "Creep" by Radiohead for no specific reason other than Chappelle loves this song. Like he loves Radiohead and Tom York.
They 100% sound checked it, for sure.
What's that? What'd you say, Darren?
They ran it in a sound check, I guarantee you.
Oh, so I don't care if they ran it in the sound check. I just think it's fucking crazy that Chappelle... And this is what I kind of love about it. It's not just bringing Chappelle on because he can't sing worth a shit. It's not bad. It's like not the worst, but it's not the best. But it's like all the normal people during the pandemic that were just kind of biding their time to get back and play in front of people, whether it was a comedy act or whether it was a rock act. For the Foo Fighters and Dave Chappelle to kind of usher in the return to going to concerts, I thought it was fucking phenomenal. And I didn't even know this concert was happening.
We talked about it on the show. We're a rock show, right?
Morning?
So we talked about it last week, in the last couple of weeks when it went on sale, and it's been big news. It's been big news. The Foos are back, and
my 4-year-old daughter, I sing to her when I'm home. Obviously, I sing every night so she can fall asleep. She knows every word to "Creep" by Radiohead. That's one of those I sing her at night. So I like that. That's why I liked it. Dave Chappelle wasn't exactly the greatest singer for it, but it was fun. It was really fun to watch him.
I'm a creep.
You're a loser. Now go to sleep, you little fucker.
What the hell am I doing here, you little shit?
Now go
I don't belong here.
Except I always have to one line.
Eat.
Well, I sing that in Depeche Mode. Somebody I was thinking about it. So I sing Depeche Mode, Somebody, Radiohead, Creep, and Drug Buddy, the Lemonhead, and she knows the words
with
Radiohead.
your daughter.
Holy fuck!
She's just trying to sing. She loves singing. Those are the songs that
Oh, good.
that brought me through my childhood. Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be completely normal. Don't expect
she'll
to
be
call
fine.
late at night one night to pick her up at jail.
No issues at all there.
Yeah.
One of the great moments from the last night's show is when Grohl was singing "Times Like These," and had the whole crowd singing. And I'm not like a concert guy. I love going to a couple of shows a year. If I really love the band, I'll go and really enjoy myself. But like just first fully vaccinated post-pandemic show. Listen to him singing to the crowd and how appreciative the crowd is just to be there.
It's times like these you learn to live
again.
It's times like these you give again.
That's right.
It's times like these you learn to love again. It's
Times like these.
And so,
Time
and Sugar Free Red Bull. Yes, regular.
Yeah, you get it, right? I mean,
I like it.
Brilliant. They're the biggest rock band in the world right now.
I love Dave Grohl. I love the Foo Fighters. I just have always been a little
Has it-
disappointed with their
Anyone
shows.
else ever?
His singings. I shouldn't be triggered by his singing, but
you don't
I
like
think
Dave
he's
Grohl's voice?
It's like
Are you
Anthony
serious?
Kiedis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Whenever I see them live, I'm always like, there's the band is so
Has
good.
anyone ever
And
been
there's
to the biggest bands in the world? Like the biggest band in the world was definitely Nirvana at one time, and Foo Fighters probably was at least close, right? Like, is there anyone else that's done that?
Seen both of them? No. I've seen the Foo Fighters, haven't seen Nirvana. I know you've seen Nirvana.
I saw Nirvana in 1991 at Lee's Palace.
At Lee's Palace? Yeah, that's a legendary show in the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that, isn't it? Like it's like one of those shows that people it's like the Foo, it's like not the Foos or Rolling Stones at El Macombo. It's that legendary, right?
every time
It-
Nirvana
well,
comes
it's-
up in Edmonton, there's at
Queen of the
least
horseshoe.
every
ahead.
time Nirvana comes up, a conversation about having played Edmonton, there's always some guy that claims that Nirvana slept on his couch in 1991. It's like, yeah, you and
Yeah.
40 other people, right?
Yeah, the label couldn't spring for a Motel 6 in Edmonton, right?
Back then, when they toured on Bleach, they didn't have a lot of money, so they probably did sleep on people's couches.
Yeah, but every time I have a conversation about it on the air like this, somebody's got to claim that they put them up, right? I don't believe all the claims. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've slept on many a stranger's couch in my time.
I bet.
Before
It was a
Goldfinger
thing.
started to have a lot of success, we slept on couches for sure. We're like, hey, anybody, we're just going to get a crappy hotel and sleep in one bed, but we'd like to sleep at your house. And then people are like, oh, I got spare rooms. Come stay at my house. And in the middle of the night, I go in their fridge and eat all their food and piss in their ice trays. Go through the medicine cabinet, see what they got. Ooh.
Ooh, some benzos. Ooh. What's amazing is that like guys like you that are in successful rock bands and successful rock musicians, you talk about that time where you slept on couches and you traveled around in Chevy Astro vans and had to hump your own gear. Like it's the greatest time of your life, but it was literally what you guys were all running away from as fast as you fucking could too. It's fascinating to me. Like you get a modicum of success in the rock and roll show business world, or same thing with a professional athlete. You grind and grind and grind, and you get there. And the only stories you really tell are from back when you actually were traveling around in a van, sleeping on people's couch, taking a piss in their ice trays before you left their home in the morning.
Dave Grohl actually has a documentary out right now. I think it's called In the Van or From the Van or Stories from the Van or something like that.
Yeah.
And it is about the earlier days of Nirvana traveling.
Isn't that when the best writing happens,
called
though?
Set Up-
Isn't that when the
I
best
think it's
writing
called Set Up-
songwriting happens? Is when
Yeah, I agree with you, James. Yeah. I think bands are in their most creative stage quite often when there's hard times, right?
Yeah.
If you're walking from the van or getting a ride from the airport and you're going to the green room and you got a massage before the show, I'm not sure you're getting your best material from those guys, right? Yeah.
Whole life to this record.
Yeah.
Youth, all stories of struggling. That first record is monumental, but then this, the sophomore and junior for some bands can be a struggle for sure. Depending on the song.
But Dave is never like You know what's interesting is like, when most bands become big, they turn into like super assholes. I don't know. I'm not aware that Dave Grohl has ever had like an asshole phase, or like a junior rock phase where
I've never heard a bad thing about him ever.
Never. I've interviewed him a couple times.
Let me tell you my Dave Grohl Lee's Palace story. At Javent, you might have been there, Dean, when they.
I was there. Yeah, he took my beer from me and drank
it, and playing guitar and doing a solo. It was monumental.
I was on the stage.
On block.
I was on the bar when he was walking around the bar.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, that was a great.
He took literally picked my beer up while he was playing his guitar, walking around the bar, chugged my beer, and went back to the stage.
A snowy November night or December night, and I wanted to get backstage and say hi to them because I've met Dave a number of times. And I got backstage and it was empty. I'm talking 1 minute after they got off stage, the dressing room to the side was empty. I'm like, where the fuck did they go? So I follow the trail to get to the back door. It's snowing. I see Dave. I'm like, Dave, Darrin, Goldfinger, just want to say hi. He turns around, comes back, and he's like, dude, I didn't know you were here. That's right. Yeah, you work for the station. How's it going? The tour manager is grabbing him like, Dave, we got to go. He's like, yeah, 1 minute. So did you see the show? How was it? And I'm like, it was amazing. Wow. Like, where you headed now? He's like, oh, we're going to do this Area 51 thing in Arizona. We got to catch a flight like tonight. And the tour manager's like doing this. And he's like, Dave, we got to go. He's like, yeah, 1 minute. So Darrin, what's going on with Goldfinger? Like, you got a tour? Is there a new record? And the tour manager's like this. He's going like this. He's going like this. And goes, Dave, we got to go. Dave turns around and goes, I'm talking to my friend. I feel bad now. So I go, you know what, Dave? Go do your thing in Arizona. I'll catch up with you down the line. It's good to see you. And you give me a hug and he gets in the van and the van pulls away to go to Pearson. But that's the kind of guy he was.
Mm-hmm.
He gave you time if you gave him time. And if he liked you, he was just a sweetheart of a human being.
I think that a lot of that stems from maybe.
And then I went to the dressing room and I pissed in their ice trays.
I think a lot of that stems from the time that he spent in Nirvana, right?
Yeah,
and Kurt was
asshole in rock.
Kurt was quite difficult and hard in interviews and whatnot, and maybe the difficulty that band had, at least on the front ends with press and things like that, because Kurt was he rebelled against anything, right? Anything and everything. So maybe that wore off, but he's also wired that way.
I've heard Dave Grohl talk about that in an interview once about, watching a front man like that just sort of, crumble under the spotlight in a sense, like emotionally or whatever. But then he credited his rebellious nature, Kurt, with the media as part of the trajectory was so steep. So it's a weird thing. Like if he was more reserved, would Nirvana have been as popular? Because what would the media talk about if they didn't talk about how much he hated the media and success and all that?
Because people chased him around because he was such a media disaster, right? So they chased the guy around to get a quote from or quote, or listen to him talk about The Catcher in the Rye, which he would always had a personal copy with him. And it was like this thing that the reporters were like, hey, tell us about your favorite book. And he would like coyly reach into his pocket and go, I really like Catcher in the Rye. And everybody's ah, ha, ha. But they treated him like shit, right? So
and all of your
I get that part of it. Yeah, which he got, which I loved the idea of the whole thing. And now here's the great part. As of July the 5th, ladies and gentlemen, Lachlan, James, Darrin, July the 5th, the government of Canada says fully vaccinated individuals only, just fully vaccinated individuals can travel from Canada to anywhere in the world and back. And all you have to do is get vaccinated. That's it.
That's not going to upset anybody.
I know, right? As soon as I read it, I died laughing, but they announced it today. Canada's going to be lifting most international travel restrictions. I'm going to laugh all the way through this story, by the way, but only at the people who haven't been vaccinated. Permanent residents and foreign nationals who are fully vaccinated will be allowed to travel back and forth willy-nilly after July the 5th. Effectively at midnight that day, Canadians can go back and forth. They don't have to isolate for 14 days. You just got to take a test before you come back and fill out this thing on ArriveCan, which is an app that Canada is saying everybody has to get if you want to arrive in Canada. Border restrictions will remain in place for everyone else. Everyone. Unvaccinated, half vaccinated. It's the fully vaxxed people that can run around, which is hilarious to me.
triple charge and extend the gulags by
Dean,
a
when you
week or
say
two.
hilarious, do you mean, haha, I'm vaccinated and I'm stoked?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, listen, we're in this time where it's going to call for reconciliation between the vaxxers and the anti-vaxxers, right? Where some of us are going to have to come into the middle and say, hey, guys, it's okay if you're not getting vaccinated. I'm not going to rub it in your face that I'm going to the Bahamas for a golf trip in 3 weeks, which I am. I'm not. I'm not going to rub it in your face that I can go to movies, go out for dinner. Oh, eat indoors, by the way. Just go to Buffalo for a Jays game for the day, come back. No big deal. I just want everybody to know that's not getting vaccinated that I'm not going to rub that shit in. I'm going to go. I'm going to live my life in the Bahamas where it's nice and warm in the middle of the winter while no one's even allowing you to go into a Montana's to enjoy the ribs because you're not fucking vaccinated.
This is the vaccinated.
While you and your family are standing
Anti-vax.
outside the Cineplex Odeon Theater like this, it's cold, Father. Can we go to the movies?
Dean's like,
I'll be
I'm going
inside
to-
waving at you with my fully vaccinated arm going, no, actually, you cannot. You have to
I'm
stay
going to
outdoors
Buffalo.
with the rest of the dirties.
Can I come? No, you can't. You're not vaccinated. I'm going to go to Bahamas and play some golf for the weekend. Can I come? No, you're not vaccinated.
I do enjoy this because I think that that all of this is just coming to fruition. Like it's just awesome.
It'll be gone as quickly as it came, though. Like we're not going to require
not gonna
passports.
last. You're
We're
right,
not going to require. We're not going to require vaccine passports forever.
Yes,
That's
we
not
will.
gonna happen.
Yes,
No
we
way.
will. Yes, we will.
I agree with Dean. It's coming.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
We're gonna-
We've required. Well, hold it. We've required vaccine passports for the last 150 years here in Canada. Are you saying that we're just going to decide to not use them in 3 years? Because
I'm
I
saying
have
your
a
apple
feeling-
is not this. I'm saying your apple is not the same as that orange because we don't walk around with our inoculation
same.
records.
it's the same. No, we don't, but we have them in our back pockets. And here's the thing.
They're
Proof of
setting up web
vaccination-
pages.
Here's
How
the
do we
thing.
have
There's-
it? You carry around your inoculation card before pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Did
No,
you ever
right there.
show
No.
it to restaurants or to movie theaters? Did
No,
anyone
not
ever
yet,
ask
but
you for it?
No, not yet, but they're going to. Proof of vaccination will be required in order to be exempted from quarantine measures, and travelers are being asked to either have a paper
Right.
or
While
a
we're
digital
so-
copy.
There was
Let me finish.
protest outside of
Let me
that Foo
finish.
Fighters show.
Let me finish. They will also have to submit proof of their vaccination as well as, look at this, I got my two things here, COVID-19 related information of the federal government's ArriveCan app before arriving in Canada. So you're not only going to have both of these bad boys, shot one, shot two.
So what I'm
fully
talking about,
vaxxed.
what
You're
I'm
also going to
talking
have to
about,
provide a fully negative test on return and fill out a whole bunch of other things just to get back into the country. And here's the thing, is if you still test positive and you're fully vaccinated, which I don't like, you also have to quarantine for 14 more days. But fully
Okay.
vaccinated people,
so that's not what I said.
you're in, you're done.
What
You're
I said,
back.
what I meant
Lights
was,
on.
in 2 years, you're not going to have to go and show that at an Eastside Mario's or a Montana. It will
I
fade
wonder
away.
about that.
It'll fade away.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to be forever.
How can you say that?
Like,
How can you
because
say that
we
after
don't
going
do this-
through all this
because
shit?
because we don't do it right now. For any of the
Well,
things we
polio
were
was 80 years ago.
we don't do
80
it
years
right
ago.
now.
Wonder,
Right.
I wonder, James.
Look at you getting so pissy.
I wonder, James, if
Yeah.
James may be right on the if you want to go to Montana's
That's what I'm saying. That's all I
for
was
your
saying.
birthday in 2 years. But I'm the more information
You want to go to
I
Montana's
see,
for your birthday? You got bigger problems and maybe not getting
Yeah,
a vaccine.
I was just gonna
but
say.
they give you the horn thing, and then everyone comes out and they sing.
They give
So
you a
if we
horn,
get-
you can
if we-
play-
I love that.
you can storm the
If we
Capitol.
top out at around 85% fully vaccinated country, just to pick that number for fun.
Yes.
And then there's no more COVID cases in like 18 months. You think that 18 months after that 18 months, we're still going to be flashing our COVID card? I don't think
I
so.
think that
you
to
made a
travel,
mistake early in the conversation by saying it won't be around in 18 months. It will be. This is going to be around forever.
But you
Forever.
held up two things and then started talking about a bunch of shit that I wasn't talking about. Yeah, so I'm not like, what is that?
You mean
You're talking about
fully
travel.
vaccinated?
You're talking about travel, right?
You're going to need
You're
these
talking
to be
about
able to
coming
go for
into the
dinner
coun-
too. You're going to need them.
I don't know about that. I kind
You
of
will.
agree with James on that, but I have a feeling that we're going to need to be showing some proof of vaccination to travel to another country is what I think.
Right, but that's always been there for things like malaria, for going to African countries. That's not what I'm talking
about.
Right?
Going to Vegas. They're going to be like, if you want to go to Vegas, you need to have this booster shot, and if you don't, sorry, you're fucked.
I agree. Stone one.
And
who the hell eats at Montana's?
Oh, that's positive, Mike. He hates anything that's popular.
yeah, dude. Listen, James, I understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. That over time, we're going to just forget about the restrictions in the passports. You're probably correct. But that time isn't like 2 or 3 years. It's like 50. It's like 30 because this thing will be around for a long period of time. And maybe in 5 or 10 years, I'll be okay sitting next to someone who just didn't bother getting vaccinated. But listen, after all this is said and done, I'm fully vaxxed. Darren's fully vaxxed. You guys are going to be fully vaxxed in a little bit. We've wasted like months talking about this whole thing. Are you telling me that you're going to be okay sitting next to someone at anything who hasn't been vaccinated? Like, you're going to want to know that when you go into a restaurant, or you're going to want to know that when you go into a place, correct? Like if you go to a hockey game, are you not going to want to sit in the vaccinated section? No, you're not. You'll sit with the dirties. Is that correct?
What the fuck is the point of being vaccinated if you're afraid to sit beside somebody that might not be vaccinated? What's the point? You're vaccinated. Therefore, you can sit with people that are not vaccinated, right? Like, it's not.
Dean wants to shame people.
Yeah, I do. I know. Well, he's prepping for his
to do with wanting to go to a restaurant or golf or travel. It is everything to do with him really wanting to shame
Lachlan,
people. That
I think
didn't
he's
get
really
vaxxed.
Lachlan. I think he's really worried about his 4th kid that's coming up.
I'm not having a 4th kid.
You are totally having a fucking kid.
I'm not. But you know that
Another
those
one.
people that, like, I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about the people that can't get vaccinated, because they got pre-existing this or that, they got issues. I'm talking about the people that have been dickbags about this for like months.
I never believe the person that says that he's allergic to something.
I just pictured Lachlan's balls because you said dickbag, but go ahead. Yeah.
I pictured dickbags that have been forcing the issue and telling us that we're wrong and we're sheep and stuff like that. Those are the people that I want to watch cry outside a movie theater because their kids aren't allowed to go in and watch their favorite new Pixar film because they're not vaccinated. Like, that's the stuff. Is that so wrong? Does that make me a bad person?
It's the little things.
Schadenfreud's a great feeling. It's the little things. And part of me feels like if you didn't get vaccinated, you shouldn't be entitled to the privilege of all the things that people who did get vaccinated are entitled to because they did the work.
Like the
regular viewer Naked Cheese Whiz saying that being vaxxed doesn't keep you from getting COVID. It only reduces the effects. Well, that's not really true. You can still contract COVID if you are vaccinated. It's kind of rare, they say, but it does reduce effects. But I still think that if you're vaccinated, and you walk around still being afraid of being around people that aren't vaccinated, then I don't know. Maybe you should just stay indoors. Does
it feel weird that no one even asked you that question?
I was reading the comment from Naked Cheese Whiz.
I'm with Dean. I want to laugh at people. That's a lot of fun.
It's catching on.
It is. It really is a lot of fun to point and go, ha ha, like Nelson in The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 16 months worth of lies that those parents have told their kids, and there's kids are sitting out there with their foam finger getting ready to go see Iron Man 12, and they can't get in because the parents are like, sorry, we just didn't believe in science. We didn't know you'd want to go to the movies.
What kind of communist Canada do we live in?
Yeah. We didn't think that they were serious when they told us that we wasn't allowed to mix with the regular folk.
We thought that once Biden was in office, COVID was just going to disappear.
Yeah. Seriously.
I'm okay with a little bit of poking fun at that group, but yeah,
amazes me that James isn't. James has been sticking up for these guys.
No, I understand what James is saying. He's not sticking up for them. I think there is a faction of the population, regardless of whether or not you believe in the vaccine or not, that really just wants everything to go back to normal. They want, because now there's conversation in our city, Edmonton, because the mayor extended the city ban on masks, or like not ban, but the mandate for masks in public places. And apparently just out of the blue decided a week or two ago that we're going to extend it to December just to make sure we're covered. And now people are freaking out about it. And I don't think it's everybody. I don't think it's that group that you're talking about, Dean, that you want to go, ha, ha, you're a loser. There's a bunch of people that are like, I've got vaxxed.
Yeah.
I am doing everything I need to do. I washed my frickin' hands. I've been jumping through the hoops. Just get rid of the mask. And unfortunately, again, and I've said this countless times here and on my show, you can't have a conversation about the gray area of any of this because you either get put in one camp or the other, right? You're extreme left or extreme right. And so it's just weird. We're living in this weird sort of limbo right now where everybody just wants things to get back to normal. They want us to stop talking about COVID numbers. They want to stop talking about vaccinations. And so I understand.
My favorite COVID thing that no one talks about that's happened over the last 2 weeks is when the Dr. Fauci emails were leaked. And it turns out in private emails to friends.
Because there's nothing there, James. That's why.
Sorry, can you tell me what I was just going to say? Because you seem to have a good opinion about
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that he said that the mask didn't work.
So what he said is that if they're not good, masks are ineffective to spread in the spread of COVID and it only protects you if someone actually were to hork on you. He was telling friends and family that outdoors there's literally no benefit, and indoors it's only really beneficial if someone actually spits on you. But droplets were unaffected. And the reason why people don't want to talk about it is because the crazy conspiracy theorists happen to be kind of correct about one thing, and no one wants to give them that. So we ignore the fact that the doctor of record for this pandemic actually said masks are ineffective, and
James?
No one wants to talk. Yep.
For me, can I say this? Are you going to
address what I said?
At no point did I think that masks were 100% effective. At
That's
no
not what he
point when I
said.
put on a mask that my wife made at the kitchen table from leftover material in the basement that sat by the washer and dryer for 7 years, did I think that fucking mask was going to save my life from anything? I knew that it wasn't. It was just to me, it was like, all right, listen, we got to do this. If it's 5% or 10% effective, maybe I'll save a life. Maybe I will maybe I won't get it. Maybe if I do have it, I won't give it to somebody else. And it's a minor chance. I heard that. I heard that it wasn't 100% effective.
Okay, but did you hear that it was basically negligible, the effectiveness? Because that's what he said. Anyways, the point is that
when did he say this? Because you have to take it into context. Did he say it early on when there was very little information about the spread?
Okay, I'll give you the chronology.
Later on, when there were multiple.
I'll tell you the chronology of Fauci is like this. The N95 masks are effective. And then he went on TV and said masks are ineffective. And then 3 months later, he said the only reason he said that was a strategic move because he didn't want people hoarding the N95 masks. And then after that, he had to double back and try to figure out a way to communicate to the public. So he just went full force, broad brush, saying masks are effective. That was a lie because at the same time, he was telling people in emails that masks are not effective. So I don't want to give him a pass for this because what he's done is he's given credibility to the people that are kind of crazy around us, and then the people that aren't crazy.
We all knew that they weren't effective. Everybody knew that.
No, they didn't.
That.
I
knew that. Everybody, they said that out loud. They said it out loud countless times. I heard it all the time. They said, "Listen, the mask isn't 100% effective."
Hey, you keep on going to 100% effective.
Stay 6 feet away from fucking idiots, and you wash your fucking hands, and you wear this piece of shit mask on your face. Maybe it'll save a fucking life. That's what they said. No one said put the fucking mask on and this will save your life. Nobody said that. It was always delivered that way.
Okay, Yelly, listen.
It was always delivered that way.
Hey, guys.
What you just said, hold on a second. Hold on, Darrin. Hold on. Darrin, hold on. Hold on, Darrin. Fucking hold on, Darrin. please, for a second. I want to
Hold
Hey,
on.
James.
Fuck
James.
off, guys. You know what?
James, you
Seriously.
can bring it down. Yeah, I'm serious too. Bring it down just a bit. Don't take it personally. We're trying to have a fucking conversation.
Well, then don't fucking interrupt and yell. And then when I'm going to respond to the person yelling at me, don't.
How's that?
You shouldn't have
leave?
done that. I shouldn't have yelled. I apologize, James. I'm just frustrated by the fact that we continue to have this. The reason why no one's having this conversation, James, is because no one wants to have this conversation.
No, the reason why we're not having this conversation is because no one wants to say, you know what? The fucking crazy people happen to be more correct about something than the sane people. No one wants to go there. And you keep on saying this whole, no one said it was 100% effective. My argument is not, no one said it was 100% effective. My argument is the doctor of record for the pandemic says the effectiveness is, quote, negligible. That is a far cry from just not 100% effective. He lied. And we all felt good about it. We all felt good about ourselves because we walked around with masks on. And it turns out the crazy people happen to be right, that they're basically ineffective. And I think that the way that we brush over that, when that is a massive communications breach and massive communications problem, and we're just like, meh, we've been calling anti-maskers, for fuck's sakes. We've labeled them. And it turns out the anti-maskers were actually more correct than you or I. That's just the
I
fact.
disagree. No,
But
I
are
don't
the
think it is.
anti-maskers, are they having any, are they having a positive impact on COVID or a negative one? In my opinion, it's negative. That's why, anyway, Darrin.
Darrin, go ahead.
I need 30 seconds. James, you might have a point. Some of the crazy people might be right that masks are less effective, but our listener and our good friend Emily C, it really does help prevent people from touching their face, because all the time you're touching your face and and then you're touching shit, and then someone else touches it and they get COVID. So it also helps. It helps put people with anxiety at ease, and there's a lot of people about this in the world that have anxiety. But as far as Dr. Fauci, I don't think for 1 second that Dr. Fauci, and now keep in mind, he's a person, he makes mistakes, and this was a brand new virus that the world has never seen. So these scientists were learning on the fly, learning on the go. They were getting information constantly that was updating outdated or antiquated information. So you can't really put Fauci's feet to the flames here, because he spent decades and decades and decades trying to help people kick diseases and trying to help mankind as a globe kill viruses and survive from viruses. So did he fuck up? Maybe. Did he get misinformation? Maybe. But he's still a human being, and I still think he had the general goodwill of the people in his heart.
Okay.
But to your point, James, yeah, maybe the crazies were right about one thing. Ooh.
Right, but the Fauci thing, what you just said kind of isn't true, because it's not like he just learned about masks and droplets and airborne diseases and how they spread. This is not new information for him. That's why he was very specific about the N95 mask, because he knew that the other masks weren't effective. So anyways, like it's just one of those points about this pandemic that I find very frustrating, because whenever we find out that the good team was wrong about something, we don't talk about it. Whenever we find out that the bad team was wrong about something, that's all we fucking talk about. And I think that's an issue. And that's why we're also like, it's exhausting. We've been doing this for a year and a half, and so many things have been like, determined to be untrue. And I know it's a fluid situation and you got to adjust, but masks and how they impact the spread of airborne droplet viruses, where droplets are the cause. They know about this information. That's why they said N95 is the way to go, because cloth masks are not effective. And somehow
I knew all this.
We got seduced.
That's why I'm so frustrated. We all knew this. I knew that. Listen,
why would you call someone an anti-masker if they're technically correct? Why would you do that? And why wouldn't
I'm not
you
calling
touch
anybody
your
an
face?
anti-masker.
And when you're wearing the mask, Darrin, you're touching your face more. You're touching your mask more. You're always fiddling with your mask. So that, I don't know what point that was. Like is
James,
you're just going to wear a mask and not touch
can
your
I ask
face?
you a question?
No.
So you think, okay, well, we don't have to keep doing the fucking podcast then.
Oh, just
I'm
ask
cool
me a
if we
question.
don't.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can. Okay. I'll
No,
be
no,
my.
no. I don't care. I'm easy going. Listen, dude, I'm easy going.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you a question about this, because you take it very fucking personally. And it's like you're sticking up for the anti-maskers, or you're overly emotional today. And I want to know why.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to know is so you're telling me that we didn't have to wear masks for 16 months, and they offer no protection? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what you're making it sound like. So just clarify that for me.
I'm saying that outside we never had to wear masks. I'm saying that inside the effectiveness was negligible. I'm quoting Fauci. So does that mean I'm not a scientist, so I can't sit here and crunch the data.
That was from one of his emails, right? That was from that one email that was sent in the first 3 months
to a family member.
Yeah. Is there a chance that he's wrong? And maybe
there's a chance
this is
that
okay. Go ahead. I was just trying to
there's
make
just
a
a
quick
chance that
point,
he's
but this is
talking
what
out of
this is what I'm trying to say is that that was an email that, from my understanding of the timeline of these emails, is that the Fauci emails changed in perspective because it changed in time and need and demand and threat. So early they were saying, don't worry about the masks because the threat wasn't as real. We didn't know it was as real. We weren't testing for it. It had just started 2, 3, 5, 15, 20, 200, however many people just started. So invariably they needed time to be able to catch up with it. Are masks as effective as they...
That's not accurate, what you just said.
Are masks as effective as they told us they would be if we wore them? No, I don't think they were at all. And I agree with Loch.
I don't think anybody's surprised by that.
I think there was a stretching of the truth to try and mitigate as many infections as they could by encouraging people to wear masks. And when we call them anti-maskers, it's a figure of speech. And I've made this statement and this claim several times. I'm talking about the person who takes a big shit on science and then takes their fight to the internet and to your email box and the streets of Toronto with their placards telling you you're murdering your children. Those are the people. And I don't care if they were partially right. If they were partially right, great. I think we're covering that stuff here. But what I'm saying is the willingly ignorant still deserve the shame. You can maintain that they don't, and maybe one Fauci email 12 months ago says you might be right, but that's not what I'm talking about. And that's not what anybody here is talking about. What we're talking about are the willing assholes. Those people still deserve the tag and the title.
Right, but the willfully ignorant, okay, were at least partially made ignorant by Dr. Fauci's original statement where he said that masks were ineffective because he wanted to, as he admitted in a congressional committee hearing 3 months, that he made that up so that people wouldn't hoard the only mask that actually protect you, which is the N95 mask. So
here's where I think your theory maybe falls a little bit short, James. And I know it's not really a theory, but the discussion that we're having, I think regardless of whether or not the mask debate is right or wrong or who's to blame happened, I still think that what you want people to do and what you want the authorities to do is to go back and reevaluate the mistakes they made and admit the mistakes that they made, which probably won't happen. At least it'll happen maybe behind closed doors. But in my opinion, and this is why I'm so frustrated, I don't think that regardless of how everything was presented to us, it wouldn't have changed the number of people on the different sides of the issue. We would still have the same groups of people and the same separation, regardless of how the information was disseminated down to the general public.
That is a fair comment, and I think I agree with you for the most part. There are all these weird examples though, like of government decisions and basically lies exacerbating the situation. Don't you remember when our health minister?
Oh, that's
right
never
at the beginning
go away, though.
No, but right at the beginning, the health minister said, closing the border often results in worsening the pandemic. And doesn't that sound like the stupidest thing you've ever heard now that we're 60 months? Even at the time, medical professionals were like, what the fuck is she doing? And then they kept the border open for another 3 weeks or whatever it was. They never really closed the southern border. And it turns out, a lot of the infections that we're getting, in fact, happened because of international traveling over the border. So it's like, and then they just let it slide. And there's no one in the world, no professional medical person in the world that was like, if you get a lot of foreign people to go to a country without testing them, I'm sure that will have a great impact on the pandemic. But, and these little tidbits of information, these government missteps that are just so profoundly wrong, and we just let them off the hook. This
We
government.
don't let them off the hook, though, James. I think that's part of the reason why our anger continues to grow and the separation is continuing to grow. And we're mad at public officials right now. The reason why I get so wound up about the conversation about whether or not masks were effective or not, or whether or not we should have been using them, is because all it does is just get us so bogged down in that conversation when that's not productive. Because I totally agree with you. I think there needs to be a serious reevaluation of policies in a pandemic with respect to international travel.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can have that conversation because I think most people, reasonable human beings, would agree that if they had locked down Canada, we probably would have had less impact in this country as a whole. And even now, I think there's serious questions that need to be raised about how they're handling international travel back and forth. But the mask thing, it was just like the mask thing takes it down to the base fight about this. And then that's where the anger. That's why you see
it's almost a fight we don't need to have anymore either, because we're almost done. Like we're kind of there. And
reevaluating travel's one thing, but then whether or not having a fight with, and we've all had this fight with the fucking guy that we know in our group that's going into the grocery store, the liquor store, and yelling at the fucking guy at the counter. It's not productive. That's the problem I have with the discussion, James. That's where I get wound up, because
it also
every day we're getting
us. Yeah, it also worked to polarize us further, though, because I remember watching people come in to where I work at the library here, and saying stuff like, I just read this article, and it talks about all this data saying that like anything spread by droplets, cloth masks aren't going to work, and then people turn to that person and basically just like tear him down as a crazy nut, and he turned out to be correct, I guess, right? And then you take things, and everything was like that. So all the issues that were anti-government position turned out to be an issue that they exploited to polarize us even further. The lab leak theory. I was called a racist for months for having General Spalding on the Dean, your podcast, and talking to him about this lab leak theory. And everyone basically called me like a tinfoil hat guy. Now that's the leading theory. And at the time, they were like, this is not the time to talk about the origins of COVID. It was like, really? Like, when is the time? When it's too late and when we've all been softened by it and when China's not going to have to pay a price anymore? So you can take every big issue in COVID, and down the line, it was utilized to divide us. It was utilized to like hate our opposites. And I don't know if the effect, fuck the pandemic and the disease, the effects of what's happened to our society, just a social and cultural level, is going to be impacted forever. Like, I don't see how that's
you're seeing a microcosm of that on this podcast right now. And that's why I think the discussion needs to move past that, right? We're sitting here yelling at each other about whether or not masks are effective, and we all probably believe the same fucking thing.
But I think the real question
the thing that drives me crazy.
The real question is, who do you think got a higher decibel rating when they yelled, me or you?
I always win that battle. You're not going to win that one.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch this podcast after it's over.
Why not? It's good. I love watching you two get a little hairy with each other. No, it's good, dude. Like this is a great representation of how frustrated people are, right? Like, to go 16 months with a mask on, like I have, and all responsible citizens have been who have been railing against this, and to sit and find out that the crazies might have been right about the masks doesn't sit well. And James is right. We've vilified that group for a long period of time for not being neighborly, not believing in science, not giving a shit about science, being completely ignorant and willingly ignorant about what the right thing to do is next to get out of this whole thing, right? So when we get an email and it might shed some light on, maybe masks weren't as effective, then it makes everybody's head spin who fought for the masks because they thought that they were doing the right thing according to things we're told. And it makes the other side who'd been fighting against the masks, makes them even fucking angrier because it was something they've been fighting for 16 months.
No, it makes me just as angry because I wore the fucking thing into the liquor store, and the reason why it makes me angry is because I was compliant, just because I wasn't fighting with the clerk at the liquor store because I wanted to buy a 15 pack without a fucking mask on doesn't make me somebody that doesn't question the things that are coming down the pipe from authorities, right? Right. And then, so that's the problem I have, is that they're too, what's that?
It makes you an alcoholic.
What'd you say, Darrin?
It makes me an alcoholic.
Makes you an alcoholic.
Yes, occasionally
Yeah.
we can. Occasionally you cut through. Didn't somebody send you one of these nice blue mics? You should plug it
He's
in.
got like 12 of them. Yeah, but he just doesn't appreciate microphones. That professional musician.
Fucking drummers.
Microphones. You mean this thing right here?
Anyway, so yeah, we had a complaint from a guy today. He sent me an email. He goes, "For the love of God, quit fucking talking about COVID numbers on the show, because for the last year and a half, we've literally every newscast from 6, 7, and 8 o'clock, we talk about the numbers and where we're at." And I'm like, dude, it's an international story. We've been dealing with this for a year and a half. So now, just because
one
it
guy's sick of
upsets
it.
people, I know, not one guy. A lot of people are. We're not supposed to talk about it. And here's the other thing: the numbers are getting better. The story is getting better. Shouldn't we be reporting that? Shouldn't we be giving you an idea of the end in sight here? Right? I mean, I understand why people are upset. I'm annoyed with it too. I'm done. I'm so done.
Do you remember, like you see those guys in bands or singers, and they show up and they've been on tour for like a year, and they had a hit song that everybody loved that's like 5 years old, and they got to keep playing the same fucking song on every stop, and they're probably sick of playing it too. That's my point. I'm super tired of talking about masks. I'm exhausted talking about whether or not they were fucking right or wrong, vaccines, mixing, daily numbers, infection numbers, positivity rates, that kind of stuff. Like, just exhausted by it. But people can't get enough because they want to know when they can actually venture out, right? Like the mask conversation we can continue to have and say these guys were right, those guys were right. And it's a big one because a lot of those people that are super mixed up and pissed off have criminal records now because they fought to not wear the masks, right? So can you imagine if they were right and they're saddled with like 40 criminal charges from 200 rallies they've been at over the last year? They
I'm okay with it.
Be
I'll be able to
angry
go to bed. I will go to bed just fine tonight. Just fine. Just fine. Somebody told me I have to wear pants to the liquor store. I wear pants. Somebody said for this next year and a half, I got to wear a fucking mask to go in to get a 15 pack. I wear a mask. I got pants on, and if somebody said you don't need to wear pants anymore, guess what I'm doing? I'm shopping tomorrow with no fucking pants on. So that's the way I looked at it. And so the fight over the mask thing just drives me insane. It just, as you can tell.
No need to fight over it anymore. You're going to have to still wear them on those international flights, though, fellas, just so you know, because that's one thing that we can't put down.
What? Obviously, I need it. Seriously, come on.
James is just rolling a Jimmy.
I'm running out of weed. I only have that much weed left.
Let's hear the mic.
I only have this much shrooms left, so it's going to be a bad week. You know, I'm just kidding. That's 2 ounces of shrooms. I'm just joking.
Oh, his mic doesn't work now.
No,
okay.
Not really.
No, it's not better.
No, not that much better. But we're pretty much done. So, like, to not have a mic for an hour and 13 minutes of an hour and 14-minute podcast is just funny to me.
Okay, well, Dean, can you hear me? Okay, this mic is a little older. It's an older version of the blue mic. It's like the first generation, and I think it might be broken.
No, it works fine. When you've used it before, it works. It's just not you haven't. It's a lack of practice. It's okay. I don't mind. I still love you. I still think you're incredible. Just be great to.
Emily C would like to know if sativa or indica, and it's sativa because I smoke during the day, so I can't do indica.
What does sativa do? Keep you awake?
It doesn't burn you out like indica does. Like
indica makes you go night. Sativa makes you go party.
Indica is in the couch. That's basically what people call it because you're just like
okay.
Indica in the couch.
Loch, shopping without pants, has to be cautious to not get his sack stuck in the shopping cart wheels.
That's another reason to wear pants, though. I mean, if we're talking, so there we go. Not that I needed another reason to wear pants, but there you go. Thank you, Wade. I appreciate that.
You should get MC Hammer pants, Loch. That would,
Yeah.
I like them
those things
tucked
down.
up. I like them tucked up. I don't want them flying around. That's why I wear the split toes, the Stanfields.
The split toes.
You know, with the thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Where
No,
you
I get
can-
what you're... Yeah.
I don't pull my unit
Okay.
through the.
Thank you.
I don't pull my unit through the hole in the underwear. I pull the underwear down and then flop over
I
top.
I
of
love
the
how
waistband,
I love
but-
how we're full circle, right? We started off with a bang, ending it with some balls, right?
Someday I'm whipping my nuts out on this pod.
I
I'm
don't
telling
blame
Rick, you guys are going to have a face full of nuts.
PTSD? Oh, PTSD of like, hope that never becomes me. You're the after. Your balls are the after for every man. Just the after shot.
Hey,
Yeah,
Loch,
I'll
I got
let
a
you know what my
question.
doctor says about the sack conversation.
All right.
Darren?
I got a question about your sack.
Darren sounds like you plugged in a transmitter radio.
Is it really that bad?
Go ahead, Darren.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not great.
Hold on. How about now?
Hey guys, just wanted to get in on the podcast. Landing on a circling for a landing right now. Over. Air control.
we're
doing really a nice traffic mic, report
from Los Angeles, and
Yeah, I know you do. See, look at you got another mic right there, and you're not fucking using it. Unbelievable. What were you gonna say?
Loch, are your balls?
Go ahead, Darren.
My balls are as bad as I've told you.
I know. Are
Like,
your balls
I'm
as-
not.
are your-
Maybe
are
get
your
that,
balls-
Darren Pfeiffer.
Are your balls as big as your hog? Like you claim you have a big hog. Are your balls just as big?
Everything's rather proportionate. We'll say that.
Breaker. Breaker, we got a bit of an issue. Professional musician refuses to use a microphone for a podcast. Over.
We got really nice mics too.
Yeah, he's only got 400 of those fucking things in his house, and he's not
You
using
guys
one
are
of them.
dicks. You need to cut that clip out.
Over.
That's it for us, I think. I don't
Why
have
do you
anything.
need-
You guys got
That was fun, guys.
Darren, you don't need a microphone when you have that awesome Stanley Cup Chewbacca bit. Do it again.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, that's it.
Go ahead, Darren. Go
I
ahead.
get to go
Do
to
your
the, I
little-
get to go to the movies. Do
do
I
your
get to
fucked up
go?
puppet show, Darren.
Have you been vaccinated? No, I have not. Then you
Well
can't go.
done.
Oh, look, it's James.
I just would have got my. Oh, guys, this is James. I'm so mad. I'm so sick of Lachlan's bullshit.
Not bad.
I
Not bad.
need to smoke some marijuana.
In my defense, I Mike Bullard for a week. So
Oh, that's
Little
fair.
touchy.
Yeah.
Little
Well, then
touchy
you should
to
be
that.
on. If you've been living with Bullard for a week, you should be on heroin by now.
You guys, I did this
don't give me
bit
any
this
ideas,
morning
Darren.
with them. Can I tell this and then we can sign off and head out?
please. Yeah.
So I kind of stole it a bit from the podcast last week.
Mhm.
You guys were just every once in a while, Dean will do this, and I think somebody else did it on the pod, or they'll just read the punchline
Just the
of a joke.
punchlines. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sent a note to James,
Check 1, 2.
who is living with Mike Bullard, and said, let's do that this weekend, or let's do that for a bit next week. I'll call you guys every day on the radio show, and we'll just get Bullard to read this punchline. And it was complete fucking chaos. Didn't get it. He goes, all right, are you going to tell the joke? And I'm like, no, just read the punchline. He goes, that doesn't make any fucking sense. How much money do you make? So it was just complete.
Yeah, he thought
that's
Lachlan
what-
made $500,000 a year. He literally said that.
It's one of my favorite features to do that we never did. We always used to do like just the punchlines because we knew the jokes were just way too fucking dirty.
I couldn't play any of that call on my show. So I just put it on the podcast and I just left it unedited. Me yelling at James to get Bullard on, and Bullard's like, I got to put my pants on. Back off. Like, it's just.
Which
it's 3
punchlines did he
minutes.
do? Which punchlines did
The
he
one about
do?
the seal.
The ice cream one?
No, I think it
No,
was
tight seal.
yeah.
Which I don't
horses
know that.
enjoy a tight seal or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Did he do
yeah.
the one? Did he do the punchline where he's like, "Yours is bigger than your brother's"? No.
You see, that's funny to me, and I don't understand why Bullard doesn't get it. I still don't think he got it by the end of the call.
Did
He
do
was
this
so
one?
confused.
Did he do this one? Honey, I think your cunt's in the sink.
See, that might not be one. See, that's where you can't read the punchline or the joke. That doesn't work, Dean.
Or this one. Yeah, it means your drain is clogged again. No.
Is that because Lachlan's straddling the sink?
Lachlan's.
Is he gone?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Is he? No, he's still there. He's just frozen.
Oh.
Anyway. That's it for me.
All right. That was good, guys.
You guys all right?
Yeah.
Darren,
this is what didn't exist before. Do you see that vein right here?
Because you got all pissy in the middle of the podcast.
Hey, don't be a cunt.
Sorry. All right. That's it for us.
Right.
You guys good? I'm good. Darren Pfeiffer, Rock and Roll Band Goldfinger. Thanks for showing up. Great to see you. We'll see you soon. You can get Darren wherever you get your fine podcasts. The Dangerous Darren Podcast is the name of it, and it's a good one. James D. Fiore, Blackballed the podcast, blackballmedia.ca. Check it out. What's that? You guys all right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're good.
Well, we'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate it. All right. There you go. That's it. Darren Pfeiffer. See you, buddy. Great to see you. He's out. Well, that's it for us. Talk about disjointed. I don't mind it. At least we got it done. Thanks for watching. And thanks for being part of the podcast. Thanks to our friends over at Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. Get your Gitch now. 3 for the price of 3. But he'll send you the 4th for free when you use promo code GITCH3. That is the name of your promo code. Go to edsfineimports.com. Ed's Gitch, the best in the business. You'll love him. Go get him today. And a very special thank you to Easy Auto Financial, easyautofinancial.ca. If you're in the market for financing for a vehicle, go to easyautofinancial.ca. Check them out today because not only do they do their financing, they'll send you to the dealer that has the car and the financing for you. Literally one-stop shop. If you're looking for a lead, if you have a lead, if you're a dealer, or if you're a person who's just looking for a vehicle and you have a hard time with financing, easyautofinancial.ca. Thanks to our friends at edsfineimports.com, easyautofinancial.ca, also domination.ca, domination.com, dmntn.com. Check them out today, dmntn.com. It's AI to help you produce content. Super easy to use, super free to use for the first time, too. So check them out. Use them today. We use them, and you should, too. easyautofinancial.ca. And Blue Microphones, official partner of the Blue Crew. Everybody at deanblundell.com uses Blue microphones, Blue headphones for gaming, streaming, etc. Do the same. They've got every microphone from XLR to USB you could possibly imagine to use for gaming, streaming, podcasting, and all that other stuff. So use them today. Go to bluemic.com for more details or at Blue Microphones on Twitter. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Oh, yeah, sign up for our newsletter as well if you get a chance. Really appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Minus 1 minute.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?